And that I did, the reason I, okay, let's just don't say it. I'm gonna say after that. Okay, so feature file, step definition. I'm going to do it very quick, step definition, and after that, runner class. Okay, but they are, when you have a hybrid framework, they are not on, they are not these. So when we are talking about BDD approach, guys, okay, BDD approach, not the entire framework. Don't confuse. Okay, BDD approach. In BDD approach, so why do we do why BDD approach? We do acceptance testing and to check the behavior of the application. So why do we use for this? Okay, now we talk about tools. Why tools we use for it? So the most important ones is Cucumber that you guys know. Okay, and there is another one you can mention that you have, but you said no experience. SpectFlow, I believe. I don't know that, but it's good to mention SpectFlow. So we are using Cucumber. So again, BDD approach has three main components: feature file, step definition, and also runner class. These are the main component of BDD approach, not the hybrid framework. So why do we use BDD? We use BDD because non-technical people can understand it. Non-technical people can understand that, okay? And what type of testing do? We do have acceptance testing. Okay, so what do? We do acceptance testing to check the behavior of the application. Okay, and okay, what tool do we use? We use tools that there is one Cucumber and there is one SpectFlow. So we're going to talk about SpectFlow. So in Cucumber, again, Cucumber has three main components. It has feature file, step definition, and runner class. This is something that you must know, not should. Okay, that's all. Okay, now I'm going to come to the Ms. Alimo's question. I don't want to explain all of them again. If you need, I can go quick, but if no, that's all. I think I talked about it last session. So one thing which is important, so one feature file can keep 10 scenarios, remember. More than that, but the standard is 10 scenarios. Okay, imagine scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3. Each scenario has different steps. So one scenario can has 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. This scenario 1, 2, 3, 4. This scenario only 2. Okay, so imagine 3 here, 4 here, and 2 here. So they all come to like 9. When it come to 9, we have to map these steps. Okay, this is called the mapping. What does map mean? I don't have a mouse pad, sorry. What does map mean? It means, so there are 3 steps here: step 1, step 2, step 3. Here I need to have how many steps do we have? It doesn't matter how many scenario I have. I have 3 scenario. I don't mind. I mind about the steps. So totally 3, 4, 7 here. I totally have 9 steps. Okay. Here I need to have 9 methods inside my step definition. This is important. We don't mind about scenarios. The only time we mind about scenarios is because if you want to run the scenarios individually. But here we mind about the step. So we need to map it to a step definition class by using methods. Okay, this is about that. Okay, after we are done, then we run it. But here we don't want to use it. So now let's talk about hybrid framework. Okay, what is this step definition called when you are using TestNG? When I'm using TestNG, this step definition is called test class. Test class. Okay. What does test class mean? Because I'm using the main scripting here. I'm using Java and Selenium inside this class. All the main codes are here for scripting. But when we talk about BDD approach, this is called a step definition class. When I'm talking about TDD approach, TestNG, when I'm using TestNG, okay, NG, this is main class. Okay, that's good for now. Okay, but there's another question. When we come to a step definition class, it's only BDD with 3 components, but now we have to use other utility classes. Why do we use other utility classes? So 1 class, 2 class, 3 class, 4 class, depends to the project, maybe 5 class, okay? But let's see what they are. Okay, Let me go a bit more detailed about it. So first of all, let's go to the project. Okay, again to the tech project they gave us here. Why do we mean by that? First of all, we have a base class. Okay, this is a utility class again. Okay, inside the base class we do four different things. We initialize the driver, the property file, and the log. Remember these four things, and then we define the path for properties and log. What these are? Okay, let me explain. So this is the base class. Inside base class, we have methods. For example, here properties, get properties URL to properties and get the implicit weight, and then what are these? Let me just explain if you're not confused. Okay. What is the best approach here? We have three classes. So now let me comment. This is Selenium WebDriver. This is WebDriver. This is base class. Let me delete this again. So let me delete this. Again, I made a mistake. So I mean, let's keep this base class. This is base class, okay? The main class. And after that, this is the WebDriver class. This is the Excel utility class, okay? This is the JDBC connectivity. And this can be for, let me see what if we can do. For example, we can have like another utility class. Let me remember what I can add. Okay, so the first approach that we need to use inside the step definition class, remember, we need to avoid hard coding. Okay, let me copy this and create one more. Okay, the first thing inside a step definition class, remember, if they ask you no hard coding, remember this, very important. So do we have hard coding inside a step definition class? No, not at all. So then what do we do for that? We create a file. That file is called properties. This is called property file. Okay, we do all the hard coding inside this file. Okay, remember. Now let's go to the project. There's a file called here, I think we have it here. Maybe no.
Rafiq Jan, a quick question. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Why we are not why we are trying to avoid hard coding?
Sure. Yeah, because this is one of the coding principle not to use hard coding inside the main class, inside the test class, okay? Because in case if something changes, we have to change a lot of things, okay? That's why we keep whatever is changeable, we keep it separated. For example, you may need to change this URL anytime, okay? You may change the browser, you may change the implicit weight, or the load time or timeout, whatever. So we keep everything which is hard coding separated. So that's why we call object-oriented classes.
Okay, thank you.
Now, because whenever something is static, we keep it separated, because we know that this is going to be changeable. We could just come here and change it. So there is a file called properties, the extension, remember, and log4j properties, and here another called the it should end with properties. Remember, both of them. It should end with properties. Okay, now we have a file called properties. Then we do all the hard coding here. Okay. So what are those hard coding? So we, for your URL, for the browser, okay, for wait, for like timeout, whatever we have. So we avoid everything inside that. And then for what? Because now we are going to use a step definition class to use that. How can we use it? Now let's come here. We have a class-based class, okay? Then come here. These are my hard coding things, okay? let me use my base class and just show you how it is working. Just you guys learn, okay? Okay, I think you should have learned it with tick, but it's time to learn. Okay, anyway, now we have a base class. And inside the base class, I initialize my WebDriver in, globally properties, the instance of properties. And then here, private static project property file path, okay, and log4j file path. Then I define the path. See the path here? If I right click on this, and get the path properties, you see this? This is C, start from C, and then here start from SRC. So we get it from here. And this dot two backward slashes represents the project location. So up to here, we don't need to define this, okay? Because we start with dot two forward slashes. And then we define the path for this, and also we define the path for this file. I'm talking about this properties class, not log4j, okay? Once we do that, then we initialize them. I'm not gonna go deep to it. So then we create a method. So the method, so because we already here create the instance of the project properties file and with the path, then we create a method. Let's see what do I mean here. So this is the method, okay, get browser, and then string get browser equal properties dot get property. Then I define the value here. What is the value? Where do I get the value? So browser. What is the value for this browser? The value is Chrome. Okay, good. Now for every of these hard coding, we are going to create a one method. Okay, this is for browser. The browser, what is the browser value? The browser value is Chrome. Okay, then it's gonna return that. Okay, and the second one, a static, a string URL. Okay, see the URL. Then I create a equal properties. What is properties, guys? The property, do not get confused, because we create the properties file here. See the object of properties, and we are using the object of properties. And then here, this file reader is going to read this file. So don't get confused. Okay, this is the URL. What is the value for this URL? The value is this. We are just giving the value. Good. That's all. Another one, long get implicit way. So we are going to define properties.get property. When you use get property, it means give me the value of this, implicit way. What is the value of this implicit way? 30. You will get. By using get property method, you give the value of this code. What is the value of this code? Implicit way, 30. Get property. What is the value of this URL? This. What is the value of get property? This browser is Chrome browser. So that's only example. So, and also timeout, get property. What is the value of timeout? 30. See, page load timeout, and we are going to define the same thing that we have here. If I add 1T, see, if I have 1T here, then I need to add 1T here as well, because this is going to be recognized this. By using this, we avoid hard coding inside the main class. Okay, we are going to use it from like another class which is called property. So this base class is going to get all these values. Okay, and now the base class has all these values. Okay, remember this. Let's come here. So what do I want to do? Let me just tell you this. This is JDBC connectivity. You guys know, to connectivity location. This class will extend base class, Excel class. So let me just give you this. This is going to extend this. Excel is going to extend this. And also WebDriver is going to extend this. Now, let's go here. This is the base class, okay? The base class does not extend anything. See, this is base class, nothing. But if I come here, if I go to any other utility, database utility, extends database utility, let's come here. It doesn't extend it. Yeah, it doesn't need, WebDriver needs it actually. So extends base. See, every class extends base, but what I do here, we do not need to come and extend all of this together, because the reason they ask you why you are going to say this, you say that these classes extend base class, and then the only thing I do, I extend base class. By extending the base class, I have all the properties of these 3 or 4 utility classes. Okay, because I only extend the base class, And then these classes already extended base class. So by using that, I access to all of this, because Java only one class only extends one class. You cannot extend all of these together at once. So they extend base class, and then you are just using base class again. So this base class, uh, it connects to the property that property that I just explained. This is there's a connection, and also there's a connection between WebDriver, Excel, and all of them. You can get access to all of them by just extending base class. And then let's come here. If I go inside my step definition class, let's just talk about this, for example. So extend base, that's fine. Because base is already extended by other utility classes, by extending base, I have access to all those classes. Okay, this is that you should remember. Why do we have utility classes? Why do we have utility classes? Very important. Imagine inside this step definition class, I need to connect to database. When I connect to database, remember this, there are 4 steps. I'm going to maybe talk about it next session. First, I need to create a connection class, then a statement class, then result set class, okay? Then I need to close the connection. So then I have to create all of these inside the test class. What is the main thing inside the main class? We don't remember these things, guys, very important, okay? We don't want to have hard coding inside the step definition. Hard coding. No hard coding, okay? No code like duplication. So duplication means a lot of code. It should be, and also it should be clean. So instead of coming and creating connection and make a lot of coding, I only use the JDBC connectivity, and it has all the methods already there. So there's no need to go and create connection. See, a statement class, result set, and then they also close the connection here. Okay, then by calling this method for all of these, there is a method. See, this method is result set. If you come here, then this is a statement. Okay, and this is connection class. For all of these, there is a method. So these methods are already here. There is no need to come to a step definition class, okay, and write write a lot of coding. I only call those methods. So that's how we save a lot of coding, no duplication, okay, and the code is very clear. That's why we use this. Do I need to extend this? No, because I already extended base class, then I can use the methods from this class. I just only call the methods, okay? This is one. Excel. If I need to, let me just go to this file. Maybe you're just show you something, okay? Okay, this is a class. This is Excel connectivity. See how crazy it is. This is only connection to Excel and get the data from Excel. You are going to learn this, but I may help you. So this is only write headers in Excel file, capture the table row and write the data in Excel sheet. So isn't it crazy to write all of these codes, all of these code just to capture the data from a row or just to read the data from a table? That's too much coding. See, that's too much coding. Only connection to an Excel file that you are going to learn, not now. So for avoiding that, we already keep everything inside a class like this class. See, for example, this is utility class for Excel. What is the purpose of this class? Just to connect to, to read the file from Excel or to write a file from Excel. So we here our code again will be very clean. Whenever we want to connect to Excel, how that connection works, to read a file from Excel or to write a file. Then I only call the methods. What are those methods? See the methods here. I can use them very easily. I think I have them in any other WebDriver to Excel and data-driven testing to Excel. I can only just call those method, this method. So I can only call the method and use the data. So by that, I can save a lot of time, a lot of coding, whatever if I want to read a file. And also if I want to connect to the database. So if I don't have these, I need to write everything inside this step definition class. You will never be able to read the code because there is a lot of coding. There is one coding for X to connect to, to read the file from Excel. There is another code to connect to database. There is another code to, for WebDriver. Then this will be very, very heavy and crazy. So for that, to avoid hard coding, to avoid duplication, to have a very, very clean code, okay, we create utility classes. Whenever we want to interact with one of them, we only extend that class and use the method because the methods are already ready. So I don't want to go detail in it, but Java doesn't allow you to extend all these classes together. So that's why they will extend base class, and then we only extend the base class. So by extending base class, you'll get all the features of this whenever you want to use. This is about the utility classes that we use. Again, you guys know. Okay, let's go to this, give you an example. So let me just, now I'm gonna give you the feature of this class. So why we use WebDriver? So you guys know WebDriver is, this is a WebDriver. If you come to the WebDriver, something is funny. So let's see, public static is select by visible text, okay, select by value, select by index. Let me give you an example from only these three, okay? So if I don't have these utility class, what should I do? I come here, if I don't have them, see how my job is crazy. If they ask you, if you explain this way, you're going to get the job, remember, okay? So I'm going to interact with the UI. Okay, let me go to Amazon, very easy, okay? Inside the Amazon, okay, they ask me, okay, I want to get this information, not real, just I'm giving you an example, not real, remember. Okay, so what should I do? First of all, this is the first job I want to do. Remember, in case that I don't have utility class, I don't have the Selenium utility class, see how my job is crazy. First of all, I need to find the element. This is the element, step one. Number two, after I find the element, I need to do the action. After I do I did the action, number three, I need to use Selenium code or method. After I did that, then I used to use the required, sorry for my handwriting, I just want to do it fast, required method. So see how crazy it is. I need to do 5 or 4 steps only to do one simple thing. I need to find the element, do the action, use the Selenium code for that action, and use required method. Why? Because if I want to come here, so first of all, I need to find elements. Okay, they ask me, this is Amazon website. They ask me, go and find this. Let me see if there's a drop down here. Okay, for example, if they ask me if there's a drop down, get the element. So inside this, then I have to, let's come to a step definition class. Okay, this is a step definition class. Inside the step definition class, I need to come here. Okay, first of all, I need to find the element. After I find the element, I need to, for example, okay, find the element. Then I need to, let me just go here, find a drop down. Okay, imagine this is a drop down. This is a drop down, I believe. Yeah, this is a drop down. For this, I need to come and find the element for this. For drop down, I need to use select class. Remember, select class. So what I need to do inside this, let me just do it quick. So driver dot find element. So imagine I found the elements. Okay, py dot expat. So I don't want to work. You guys just been confused. This is the expat. I found it. That's all. Okay. After I found the expat for that, for what? For this part. Only this part. Okay. I found the expat for this. After I found the expat, so then they ask me, okay, is it a drop down? Yes. No one asked me actually. This is my job. Is it a drop down? Yes. Now, expect the drop down. Okay, now I have to look for a select class, select, because a drop down, you have to look for a select class. Okay, then look for a select class, select. Imagine if there is no select class, then I have to come here and then use select. It gives me 35 select classes. Then Once I found this, okay, imagine I found this. Then I have to come here or say, okay, select SS equal new select. Then, so I create the object for select class, okay? Import select class. This is an example why I'm using it, remember. And then inside the select class, I need to, what I need to do, web element. I'm going to teach all of this, but just not web element cell. And this is about it. And now SE. Okay, after I found this, I need to, okay, just, okay, they told me choose order, for example, choose order. This is too much coding inside my, step definition class. If I don't use utility class, then I want to say, okay, select by index. I want to select it by index. Okay, let's see. What is the index? Index is, for example, 3. And select by index. No, let's give it 2. Index is number. And then after I select that, so this is too much coding only to interact with the one select class. But now I did it fast. It takes time to find the element. And I have to create this select method every time. Imagine I come to this, I'm done with this. And now they ask me, okay, now find, I need to interact with this English class. Again, I have to come here again, inspect this. Again, inspect this, again, create a select class, again, select object, again, and after I create it, then do the action again. Imagine I have 10 select classes here. But now we, inside the step definition, inside the class called WebDriver utilities, we already have all these methods available. There is no, anytime I want to use a select class, I only call this method select by visible text. That's all. This method already has everything inside. If I need to select by value, I call this method. That's all. If I need to select by index, I call this method. After that, do I need to accept and if I imagine there is an alert, I want to get the alert. Okay, I want to get the alert. What I need to do, again, I need to come here, alert a equal, again, alert, another thing. Imagine if I want to create an object for that. After I created the object for alert, then what I need to do, then I come here, okay, for example, driver dot switch to alert, switch to, then I provide the name for alert. This is too much coding, guys. Remember, this alert will happen later here. This alert will happen later here in this place, later in this place. So imagine you will have a lot of coding inside this class. I'm going to remove all of them. Instead of all of these, everything is already developed inside the WebDriver utility class. You only call this method. That's why. If you want to clear a text, you call this method, and this method has the action. Okay. If you want to use something from dropdown, it's already, there is an action class. You only call this method. How do you call this method? Because WebDriver utility classes, you extend base class, okay, and this utility class extends base class. Inside the step definition, you extend base class. It means you already have access to WebDriver utility. See, WebDriver utility. If I want to, for example, let me use this. Then I use this by creating the object or whatever, no object. So dot, see all the method. So I accept alert, clear the text, click element, click on whatever. All these methods are already here. So by using these utility classes, you save a lot of coding. So whenever you need, you just call the method. So, and by how you only extend this base class. That's how we call utility classes. Imagine if I don't have utility classes, I have a lot of Selenium code here, a lot of Excel code here, a lot of JDBC. This class will be crazy. You will never see what's going on inside the class. And for avoiding hard coding, I also, there's a connection between property file and base class. So everything will be initialized. All the values, all the values are inside this class. All the values, remember. And then this is perfect. Once you are done with your coding, so you read a file from Excel, you use a lot of methods from the Selenium class, and also you create a connection to database. Now everything is fine. You only execute your test cases by running classes, only for execution, guys, nothing else. Execution, that's all. This is running class. But inside the step definition class, you use all these utility classes to avoid duplication and to have a very, very clear coding, clear scripting, because there is no need to want this class has all Selenium code. There is no need to put any Selenium code inside the class. You only call the method. You only call the Excel method. You only call the JDBC method. But you don't need to extend all of this. You extend only base class. So that's how, if you explain it this way, if they ask, okay, what do you do with your utility classes? What are the purpose of that? One, utility classes are there. We use inheritance. So they know that you know Java. Okay, inheritance. Since we do not use multiple inheritance, I cannot extend all of this together. So we extend, they all extend one class and we call that class. Don't say base class. They don't know what is base class. We can change the name. So we have a class called base class. All those utility classes extend base. So since only single inheritance is allowed in Java, we only use extend base class. Now we have access to all of these. What is the purpose? Because we don't want to have a lot of coding, a lot of scripting inside the main class. It's going to be very heavy. And to avoid hard coding, we keep all the values inside the properties file, only it's a file. And then we define the values inside the property files, and then we use the required method inside the base class and we create the connection. So we just initialize them by using method. So this is how you are going to explain. So inside the runner class, what do? We have different reporting. I just explained. So we have different reporting. What are those reporting? I think so. Cucumber JVM report, HTML report, and JSON. And also I think JSON. Yeah, and also I believe one XML report. I'm not sure. Maybe yeah. You can say XML, but maybe I'm not sure about this. I didn't use it. So this is about reporting inside the J. So this runner class, it is working on the top of JUnit. Remember, JUnit. So inside this extend definition class, a runner class, we define, we choose if you want to run, what feature file, what is step definition, because we define the path for it. And then we use tagging. Remember this, we use tagging to decide what scenarios to be run and what scenarios not to be run. That's all. This is all about BDD approach. But here, when we talk about a step definition, remember, this is the test class. We have a lot of utility classes to be used. We extend one class that class has already been extended by other classes. So we have access to all of it. Maybe tomorrow you will have another utility class here, remember. So you can add any utility classes as you need based on the project. So this is what you're going to explain about the BDD approach. And I think I talked too much. Let's go. Was it clear? Any questions? Any question, guys?
No, it's good. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. Okay, so, and now the last thing I want to add, not to talk too much, it was POM design pattern. So when they ask you about POM design pattern is not a framework. Okay, not a class, not a method, not a approach, not an approach. Okay, very important. When they talk about POM design pattern, it's not a framework, it's not an approach, it's only a design pattern. This is only a design pattern, that's all. POM design pattern, this is a design pattern, guys, not anything else, okay? And design pattern can be used in any framework like BDD, TDD, or whatever, and so on. So remember this, very important. So POM design pattern is a point or page object model is not a framework, not a class, not a method, not an approach. Okay, and it's a design pattern and can be used in any framework. So what is POM design? So it's a design pattern. So how that works? Separating elements and the required actions on those elements from the main class in BDD. So in BDD, the main class is called, step definition. See, and in TestNG TDD approach, it's called test class. Remember? Yeah, I just told. It's called POM design pattern. Okay, this is a design pattern that keep separating the elements and the required actions on those elements from the main class is called POM design pattern. Okay, let me just put this here. It's called POM design pattern. In BDD approach, is the class is a step definition class. Is a step definition class, and in TDD or TestNG or TDD approach, it's called test class. It's a design pattern, not a framework. It can be used in BDD approach or TDD or any other framework that I just added. Okay, if you want to talk about this here, I already talked, but just 1 minute, I can just add it up here. So this is a step definition class, and I have a lot of utility class, 1, 2, 3. So this POM design pattern doesn't have anything on these things, remember. Okay, there's an application. This application has 10 pages. Okay, this application has 10 pages that I'm automating. So for every page, page 1, page 2, page 3, I have to find the elements of these pages. Yeah, for every page. So for every page, I have to create a step definition class for every page. Okay, the step definition class 1, the step definition class 2, 3, let's say 4. Now, this is a step definition class 1 because this application has 3 pages, 10 pages to be automated. Okay, and I need to, so when I say 10 pages, it means 10 step definition I need to create. So and then every page has some elements. Okay, every page has some elements. Then for every step definition class, I create another class. I call that, for example, page object model or page repository. Okay, object model or whatever. And then whatever element I find for that application, okay, I keep it here. Whatever element I find, okay. And then after I'm done, I create the method to do, the actions if I want to send keys or whatever. For this class as well. For this class as well. For this class as well. If I have 100 class, it's going to be the same, okay. So what is the difference here? The difference is the elements are separated from the main class. The main class doesn't have any elements. All the elements are here, okay? Because inside the step definition class, I'm using all these, utility classes, every step definition class. See, maybe inside this page, I need to connect to database. I use JDBC connect. And maybe for this class, I need to read a file from Excel. So for elements, I keep them all separated, and then for this class, I create the object of this class inside the step definition. Then I call the method very easily. So I call the method, and then I use the element. See, because for every element, I create a method, as you guys know, inside the page object model, and then I call this method inside the step definition. I do the required action. Again here. So what is a good thing about it? Tomorrow, if developer come and imagine there are 2 elements that have been used inside these classes, okay, then developer changed those elements. I need to come inside my main class and start removing those elements. So this way, I only interact with these classes. I never touch my main class, never, because there's no element here. I only change the element inside the page object model. Okay, So for every page object, for every main test class, which is called in BDD approach step definition class, we create another class, and that class can be called page object model or page repository. So we use page factory class. Remember, page factory is a class. Page object model is a design pattern. So we use page factory to initialize the element. We use page factory to initialize the elements. I have all the elements here. How can I initialize them? So then I use page factory class inside all these classes, okay, to initialize those elements. So this way, separating the test cases and the elements, it's called POM design pattern. Very easy. Separating the elements and the test cases, POM design pattern. What's the good thing about it? Tomorrow, next year, next month, if I want to automate the same page again, I already have all these elements collected. So I don't need to start from scratch. So I can use these elements. So this is called maintenance or usability, usability. And I have very, very clear code inside my, clear code inside my step definition class, but there's an element, all the elements are separate. I only use those methods. How do I use those methods? I create the object of this class inside the step definition class, and then I use the method. So these methods do the action. So elements and the actions, remember, EA, they are always inside the page object model class. And for every step definition, we create a page object model class to keep the elements and do the actions. And then we call those methods, okay, by using, inheritance. So this way, everything is separated and the code will be very clean. Reusability, we can use all these elements later if you need. And the maintenance is very good because this class is not going to be very heavy. You can just, the scripting is very clear because elements are separated, methods are separated, you only call them. If I come here, let's just imagine. So this method, click on laptop. I go to, so I only call the method. So what is this laptop? Laptop is the object of the laptop, is the object, see this for take laptop page object model. I created the object of that class, and by using the object, I'm calling the method from that class. Click on MacBook. I click on it. For this MacBook, inside the, this is inside the, page object model. For this MacBook, there's already a method to do the action. See, this is the method. This is the MacBook. The element is found. Then we create a method to do the action. What is the action? So what the action is, like, click on it. If it's displayed, click on it. Now, if I don't have this, imagine I need to have all of these on copy. Now I'm only using one method. My code is very, very clear. If I don't have a step definition, if I don't have page object model, see, if I want to do the same thing, see how much code it needs. This is the amount of code with the same thing, because I need to find the element first. Then after I find the element, I need to create a method. After I create the method, then I do the action or whatever. So now everything, finding the elements and the required actions is separated. And then this is a method called click on MacBook. I only call this method by using the object of that class. This is called page object model. And if you talk about this at least the same way, you're going to make it. Okay. And the third component, I said, it is a built on top of the JUnit. We define the path of any feature file and a step definition class that we are going to use or run. We also can get the reports based on the JSON, HTML, and XML format. We can also decide what scenarios to be run and what scenarios not to be run. So for any scenario that we don't want to be run, we use this. Remember, for every scenario that we don't want to be run, we use this tag. And if like shift, and there's a button on the left side of number 1 on your keyboard. So we use this, and this is about that runner class. These are the main features, and I think I explained about the what was that? The utility classes. So okay, if no questions, and we also have the path for page, what was that? Properties file. For every name we provide here, this is the key. Remember, this is the key. For every key, we create a method here. Okay, where inside the inside the base class, and then inside the method we provide the value. Very important, very easy. First, we create we create the instance of all of these classes, and then just remember this to avoid hard coding. Okay. Then they don't ask you, okay, come and code it. They never ask you. Once you explain it, at least 50% of what I said, they would realize this guy, okay, is knowledgeable. There's no time to go deeper. Yeah, this guy's perfect match. If they ask you, but you don't need to go through the base class. What does base class mean or whatever? So the only thing you need to do is just go through this, and they would realize how things are going. Okay. And so, okay. So, and now let's go to API testing. This is the UI testing. So you use Selenium with Java, and this is the approach. For TestNG, okay, I can add something extra to the Cucumber, but I'm not sure if you guys can. Okay, let me just add. Also, if you want just to impress them, let's see. Also, I do execution in Cucumber and Cucumber. I don't know what I'm writing, but yeah, you can also add these two. I do also data-driven testing. Also, I do parallel execution in Cucumber and data-driven testing. If they want, you can go with them. If not, no, because it doesn't. You don't have time. It's not fine to go and talk about them because if they don't ask you. Then I talk about data-driven testing. So we do data-driven testing in Cucumber. Remember. So I have two approaches. I have, or I do it in two different approaches. What was the approach? I forgot the approach. So first of all, scenario outline. And let's come here. Okay. So for data-driven testing in Cucumber, there are two approaches. Okay. If they ask you, you can just say, okay, I do data-driven testing. And then they may ask you, okay, how do you do data-driven testing? Then you can say, okay, we have different approaches. I do this because you kill the time. And on the other hand, you're talking about something that you know. And this is the best interview, talking about something, making them to ask you a question that you know. This is a perfect interview. Okay, so this is the first one is scenario outline, and the second one, let me, what was that? The second one is data table. Yeah, you all know data table. So it's the place to mention it. Okay, data table. So 1 and 2. Now let's see what they do. So scenario outline. Am I going too deep, or you want to do something else, guys? Let me know, please. Do you guys know these? If you don't know or you need more information, I go with them. If not, so let's move to another topic.
I think it's going perfect.
Okay, because we have a okay, another expression. Okay, these are important because sometimes if they ask you and you them, I lost one of my interview, and I was, I answered all the questions, and the guy was a test lead. I think she realized that I know more than her. If I'm hired, then I can be a test lead. Then she asked a stupid question at the end, and I didn't answer that because they didn't have anything to testing. So she she said that there is no way to do parallel execution in Cucumber. She didn't know that. So once I do not know something, it doesn't mean that that not exists. Okay, remember, if they say, is it possible? If you don't know, say, I do not say I don't know. Tell this. There are a lot of approaches, a lot of tools. In my company, I don't do this. I don't use it. It doesn't mean that I don't know it. Okay, so never say I don't know. Say, okay, currently we are not doing it. We are not using it. So when you are not doing or using something, it doesn't mean that it is not right or it is not correct. But currently we are not using it. But if I join, I would be glad to do it, or I can just learn it quick, or I can brush it up. That's easy. Okay, I do it in two different ways, two approaches. First one is scenario outline. In scenario outline, we do data-driven testing, but when we do not have a lot of data, okay, very important. When we do not have a lot of data, they say, okay, why? Because you said the feature file will be very heavy and it's going to be very lengthy when we do not have a lot of data. So for example, if the set of data is about 10 or less, it's a good approach. Okay, it's a data is about 10 or less, it's a good approach. Remember, it means the set of data is not more than 10. So this is something good. And the second thing, what is bad about this approach? What is bad about this approach? For every step, remember, for every step, the entire scenario has to be run. For every step, this is a very bad thing, but not mostly people, they know it, but it's good to mention it. Okay, so scenario outline. When we use scenario outline, so we use the example keyword. Okay, remember, you guys know it. And then when we do not have, so why then just you talk about it. They don't say when it's good or not. So we use example keyword. It is good when we do not have a lot of data. So how much? If the set of data is about 10 or less, okay, it's a good approach. Why? Because what is bad about it? Because for every I don't know what I was saying. For every step, the entire scenario has to be run. Let's come here. Again here. I'm looking for one example keyword. No. No. Okay, let me open this. This is an example keyword. Okay, how many set of data we have? 1, 2, 3. Let's just copy this and then put it here. Imagine we have 10 set of data. Okay, what do I mean by that? This is a scenario. 1, 2, 3. For one set of data, the entire scenario will be run. All these steps will be run for only one. After this is done, then it will start from this step, second step, third step, just to run this scenario, this step, okay, this set of data. And then once it's done, then it will start from the first, second, it may have 10, doesn't matter, just to run this. Okay, basically for every step, don't say a step, for every set of data, the entire scenario will be run. So that's a very bad disadvantage. Okay, then in case of and yeah, it's not It's not time saving. It's not a good time saving. Very important. So this is about that. Why do data-driven testing? What is data-driven testing, guys? Data-driven testing is to check a condition or do check whatever you can call it scenario or whatever with different set of data. This is data-driven testing. Again, what is data-driven testing? When I want to get into the login page or I don't know user or whatever with different set of data, this is data-driven testing. Instead of one set of data, you use more than one. It doesn't matter. When we say data-driven testing, it means the set of data that you want to enter is more than one. It can be 2, it can be 100. Okay, this is data-driven testing. So remember. Okay, what is bad about this approach? Because for every step, the entire scenario has to be run, or we say must be run. It's not a good approach regarding time, saving, or if you want to save time. So that's about this. Okay, this is scenario fine. So you already when you mention this, they will never ask anything else. Okay, and the second one is data table. Okay, data table. Let's go to this. So for data table, it's again the same thing, but there are a lot of advantages. First, we define the data for every step, not for the entire scenario. Very important. We define the data or the set of data for every step, not for the entire scenario. Let's come here. Okay. This is the step. Users fill out this information, whatever. Exactly inside the step, there is a set of data. One set of data, two set of data. And there is no example keyword, so the entire scenario will not be run for these two set of data. Only this step will be run twice. Only this step will be run twice for this set of the data. If this set of data is 1,000, it doesn't matter. This step doesn't mind, and this step doesn't mind either. This step, but only the step above the data. Whatever steps comes first, it means this set of data belongs to this step. Okay, if it is 10 or if it's 100 or whatever, only this step will be run, not the entire scenario. Okay, but when we talk about scenario line, because you put the example keyword after all steps, the entire scenario will be run for that specific set of data. Okay, very important. So we define the set of the data for every step, not for the scenario. Number two, the scenario does not run for the entire scenario does not run. Very important. The entire scenario does not run for every set of data. Again, I think I wrote it the same thing. Okay, the third one with that, for that set of data, we use map for a set of data that has header. This is my this is something that I found which is very helpful. I think you didn't learn it in tech, but so we use maps for set of data that has headers. Remember, headers. We use a list for set of data that do not have headers. Let me give an example. Maybe you didn't know that, but very important. If you tell this, you will get the job, guys. Remember, this is something very, very important. Let me just see what I have here. I'm going to give you a real example. Okay. Just want to show you something. Just inside inside this class. Okay. Let's see. Okay. See, I have map here. This is map, list, map, data, whatever. And actually, the about one, if I see, this is let's say data. I can change this. So if it doesn't have a set of data, this is data table. Okay, we use a method called raw. Okay, let me just add this as we use a method called so we use a method called raw. Okay, when we use list for a set of data that that do not have headers, we use list and we use a raw to extract the data from that method, from the this is the name I forgot, to extract the data from the data table parameter. From data table, just you guys okay, so this is important. But then you don't have a set of data. Let me just open the feature file that you guys realize what I'm talking about. Okay, it may take some time, but very important. I can't. Okay, so you see this set of data and user enter. This is called header. This is called header. When I have a header, remember, when I have, let me just remove these as well, that you guys understand. If they ask you in interview, if you answer this, the job is yours. Okay. So let me see, just to give you two different. I have two scenarios. Okay. Two scenarios. Yeah, I have two scenarios. Listen carefully, please. The first scenario, inside this scenario, okay, when I enter and user enter the username, this is header, and this is the value. And user enters password, this is header, this is value. For this we use maps. Come to the map. And for this we use map. Let's see, where's map? For this we use map. You know why? Inside the map, because whatever name you put there, the name is username. Yes, the name is username. The name is username, and the username is the header. See, inside the map, this is the username. Whatever header we have, we put it inside the map, the same. Okay, username, and definitely we have one for password as well. And see, if I open this, yeah, you have it for password. Get password maps. This password is a header. This username is a header. So this is map. Okay, this is map again, and this is map. Remember, this is the data, and I'm using the same thing. And then I use password, and I use here username. This is map. I'm using map. Okay, because whatever header we provide there, we define the header here. Remember this. But if you come to the about here again, and user enter username here, user enter username, there is a header username, but here there is no header, directly the username. There is no header. And user enter password, no header, no header. User enter password, one header, yes. Here, this is the value. For whatever you don't have header, use list. Very important. Come here, this is list. This is list. So you can use one of them. That's why I'm just commenting, see? Because you all need to change. So then we use raw method. This is then to get the value from the data table parameter. This is data table parameter. You can change the name, and then store it inside the variable and save it inside the list. So whenever you don't have parameter, you don't have header, list is the very, very good option. Why two list? I'm gonna tell you why, but you just remember this for now. But whenever you have parameters, not parameters, you have headers, we use maps, save it inside the list. Maps has key value. Now here both of them is string. We use a class as maps when we use map, but when you use list, we use a class raw to extract the data. We need to extract the data from this data table. If it's list, we need to use as maps. Okay. If it's map, we need to use as maps class. If it's list, we need to use raw. When we use list, there is no need to define the header because we don't have header. Okay. But when we use map, it means we have header, and so get 0, get password. What is this 0? Okay, username, password. Okay, come here. This is 0. Okay, because when I start from this table, this is the table. Okay, this is this is the table. This table only has one row, and this row is always a start from 0. This is the second row. This is the third row. So this is going to be 2. This is going to be 1. Okay. So because here I only have one row. Okay. I only have one row, and then it's going to be 0. That's why inside this class, I gave it 0. See, because this is only one row. Okay. These are the main differences. And then, so again, we use maps for set of data that has headers. To extract the data to the data table. Data. Okay, let's say parameter. There we use as maps. Okay, to extract these as maps. So when they have header, we use list for set of data that do not have headers. So we use a method called raw to extract the data from data table parameters. That's whatever. So I hope you guys understand this. Very important. They don't ask you to code. Remember, if they ask you go to detail, hey, why? Because sometimes when you mention something, there's some crazy people in the interview and they're out there to just catch you. Then you can say, yeah, there are 2 classes. I use this and this. Once you mention this, and again, the job is yours. Okay. Okay, I think I started from here. So I do data travel testing again in 2 different ways. I do it in 2 different ways. One with Selenium, which has example keyboard. So when we do not, when to use it? When to use it? When we do not have a lot of data. If the set of data is about 10 or less, it's a good approach. What is bad about it? Okay, or disadvantage? So the disadvantage of that is because for every step, the entire scenario must be run. It's not time. It's time. It's time consuming. Okay. And then use data table advantages. We define the set of data for every step, not for the entire scenario. And the entire scenario does not run for every step of the data. Only the above step yeah, so as many times as we have, so only the above step, you know what I mean. I think I just explained. So we use, again, if you want to go to details, I think no one knows these. Not no one knows this. I think as you see, I explored them. I did a lot of coding, guys, a lot of coding. I explored them. I just, commented my code. I said, what is the difference here? And for this amount of code, it took me 1 week, guys, just to learn it. Why? This is very, it took me 1 week for this class, and maybe I punched my laptop 3 times because my code didn't work. So I just wanted to see, hey, why I'm using maps here? Why list if I use a header? And no one helped me, so I learned myself. So I think that's a good thing, but it takes time and also a good mood and a strong laptop not to be broken. So we define the set of data for every step, not for the entire scenario. Only the above step will be run. Remember, will be run. The entire scenario does not run for every set of data. Very important. So we use maps for set of data that has headers to extract the data table parameter inside the parameter. We use asMaps class. We use list for set of data that do not have headers. So we use a method called raw to extract data table inside the parameter. Okay. And let's see, I think the time also is over. So we are left with this. This is a very, very advanced concept. I'm going to give you examples, something, but very advanced. I may not be able to code it because it takes a lot of time. And remember, no one knows it. Not no one, even those that they are interviewing you, they don't know it. But if you talk about it, that's a plus, definitely a plus. And that's, I think, all about tonight. We just went around the time as well. And any questions, guys?
Thank you. It was very useful.
My pleasure. So next time, so once we are done with this, because these are the questions that I was asked, to be honest, and I knew what I was talking about because I experienced. So I decided, okay, let's share the experience with you guys. So this is good. And next time I'm planning. So did you guys work on those Java questions? Not Googling or YouTubing, just by yourself.
رفیق جان ما سرم ریورسه که شما گفته بودین که استرنگ ریورس استفاده کنیم بر لوپ معمول کردم من تو متد دیگر یکم بر ما یک چیز نو بود متد دومی یا اپروچ دومی.
Okay, so let me give you an example, guys, not about that. So be ready, you know, for what? Be ready for what? They give you a simple word plain like this, and they give you, okay, this is the question, reverse this string. It's not about reversing, I don't mind, okay? Or find the palindrome number. Or so I'm saying be ready for this. How can you be ready? So I'm going to give you something that you should be ready. Or they give you 2 arrays. They only say, okay, find the missing number inside these 2 arrays. Are you ready for such things? Imagine this is interview. Imagine this is interview. Do not say, no, it's not. Okay, let's wait for the interview. No, this is the interview, guys. Who is ready for this? Not the questions. I'm not talking about what is palindrome. Maybe you know what is palindrome. Maybe some friends don't know. The question, I don't mind about the questions, okay? I don't mind about the questions. Are you guys ready for something? Because they never gave me Java, Eclipse. They never. They just gave me something simple. If I show you something, let me, for example, let me. Question. So one of the guy just you know, this is I got one offer for this code, guys, only for this code. See how easy it is. One offer only for this guy, and I rejected the offer. The guy, you know, he told me, okay, this is Amazon website. This is Amazon website. I think it was here. So I want this element. Be ready for it. This is how you can get jobs. Okay, I want this order. Can you get it? and he told me, okay, just I need it on a very plain, whatever you want to know Eclipse, because in Eclipse, what is bad about Eclipse in interview? What is good, what is bad? If I use this driver, this is the approach. If you want to get job, this is the way. If I use driver dot find, it gives me the method, everything. So if I use this, there is no need to, it's very easy. But if I want, the guy wants me to write this. Can I write this 5 elements? Will I write this, capital or small? If I use by, will I also put another quotation mark? Will I use another curly brace here? This is the way they want. Okay, so let's see what he asked me. And I got an offer for this simple code. This is not important, but this is how you can get a job. Okay, he said, hover your mouse here and click on order. Is it difficult? Yes. When they don't give you anything and you have only 5 or 6 or 10 minutes, be ready for such questions. I'm going to work from next session on such things. Okay, you know this, hover on this and give me the order. Now, the guy doesn't want the exact code. He wants the approach. So what is the approach for this? First of all, I realize, okay, I need to find all the elements here. I need to find all the elements, first of all. And then after I find the elements, I have to loop through the elements and get this order. This is something that should come to your mind in 10 seconds. Okay, then what I did here, see, find elements. I find the elements. I didn't write the XPath because it's not an Eclipse, okay? The guy wants me, okay, what is he going to do? Then when I find the elements, I cannot save it inside the web element. I save inside the list. The guy saw this, oh, good. And after that, he wants me to get all the options. This is the driver here, okay? What do I get? What I did, I got all this is get options, give me all the options. And then I save it inside list again. After that, this is another code. He's asked me to mouse or to hover. Okay? This is the method for that. Driver that move element to this. Where did I find it? Where's the element? The element is here. See the object. Then I put the element here. How can I find this? For each loop. For this is the element, and then if the object equals order. See. Order, see, order. This is I put order and click. Right after 2 hours, they gave me an offer and I rejected the offer. And now this is how it works, guys. They don't say, okay, do you know 5 elements? Yeah, I know 5 elements. Good. Do you know? Yes, I know. Okay, I want this order. Click on this. Only 10 seconds you have, or 2 minutes or 3 minutes to just. And the guy didn't even let me to write the code. He said, oh, this guy is perfect because he knows all the approaches. Oh, good match. Okay. And I want you guys to be ready for this. And here, reverse the string, please. Reverse this string. Are you ready for it? This is the approach. Find the palindrome. This is the, okay, are you ready now? If you are not ready, you guys need practice. So the way I gave you, so these are the questions that I'm going to work with you guys. See, these are the questions that this is from the cheat sheet I got it. These are another question, the 30 interview questions, and I'm going to work with you guys. But this is not fine that I start here. Hey guys, let's start. This is how to find a string. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't help you. You should start practicing till you feel comfortable. Okay, write a palindrome because you practice this many times, now you feel comfortable. Yeah, I'll do it. But because they give you only one file, try practicing on a piece of a paper. Once you got to your approach, then use Eclipse to find your issue. Do not jump on Eclipse, please. Okay. Find the missing number in array. They only give you this. Okay, and I don't know, a equal, for example, 1 2 3 4 5 5, whatever, and then just they close this. They say, okay, this is the array, and this is one array. This is another array. Find the missing number, please. This is gone. How would you do it? What is your approach? I don't know either, but you have to start writing code on the piece of paper. Guys, please, if you answer all these questions, if you answer everything here, still you are not able to code, okay? they will say, okay, this guy is not that good. Another way, because if for this one, let me find it, let me work on this. If I write like this, okay, string, then after that I say equal, and then start this way. If I write it, the guy says, okay, how come you have 5 years of experience that you write this slow? You're too slow. They don't tell you, but they realize, okay, this guy, it's not fine. Try to write, try to type, because it's gonna help you. For example, if I want to write a for loop here, if I want to write a for loop, okay, you should practice. Okay, I equals what? Then do this, practice. It gives you the approaches. When you write this fast inside, not this fast, I'm not talking about being fast, I'm talking about being confident. So the guy will realize, even if you don't solve the question, the guy will realize, okay, this guy has experience, it's good. So please, when I give you any questions, start writing, then I will start working all of these together. We will do it, but I don't want to solve this question, and then you will remember, you will forget it very easily, because at the time of interview, you know the answer for this, but there are a lot of things going on, pressure, you are overwhelmed, you're a lot of things, you're not able to solve it. But once you do it a lot of time with yourself, you are confident. When you start coding, the guy will realize, oh, this guy is confident. That's perfect. Even if you don't find the answer, guys, please. I don't have a lot of knowledge, but I have 5 offers out of 6 interviews. Remember, that's, I think, a record. But I have to learn a lot. I have to learn a lot. I don't know anything, to be honest. So, but they should know that this guy is confident. He knows what he's doing, even though you don't know the answer. So the one interview, I wasn't able to find a solution for a code, but they liked my approach for it, because I think, as Humayun mentioned different times, it's not possible to code and get this resolved. They want the approach. They want, okay, what this guy does. So from now on, please start working on these things. I'm going to send you again. Do it many times, 10 times, write it 10 times, please. After that, put it in Eclipse. If you are sure about the approach, you can put it inside the Eclipse after 2-3 times, not after 2, not after even 3. The more you write, the more confident you have. This is the approach. So I'm going to help you. Don't worry, but these are the things that I think is going to help you a lot. Okay, I think I talked a lot. You guys may go to work tomorrow. Let me know if you guys have any suggestion, anything that you can have it better, and if not, I have nothing to, I think, add. I hope it was helpful tonight, and it worth your time. Okay, so for the next session, I'm going to start Selenium. For the next session, I'm going to start Selenium, guys. Not Selenium, I think. Yes, Selenium. But please practice. I'm going to add this to the file. So the reason for the video, let me just start.